I'm really happy to be here today.
Mm-hmm.
I've known Ida and Gratton all my life. And we're here to have you share memories of your life here in Chelmsford. I'm going to start with you, Piton. Maybe you could talk about your parents, who your parents were.
My dad, his name was Ernest Gratton. He comes from a family of 13 children. His dad was Alphonse Gratton, and his mother was Rebecca Gratton. Rebecca Bélanger Gratton.
And your mom's name?
Mine was Janine Rayon.
And were they born here in Chelmsford?
Yes, they were. Yeah, they were born on Sudbury Basin Road. You know, in the corner of Sudbury Basin and Vermilion Lake Road?
Yes.
That house there, that's where they were born.
They were born there, and then when were your parents married, Ernest and
I don't
Janine?
remember that.
No.
I haven't got nothing of my parents that to being together, like, and the day they were married. I was supposed to go to, maybe she's got it in the book there. I was supposed to go to the church when they were married, but I don't remember. Because I was born, my sister was born in 1935. My sister Rachel, and I was born in 1937.
Okay.
So.
And then where did you live? Did you live on the Nickel Basin Road, or did you move to downtown Chelmsford?
No. Where I was born, I don't know if you remember where Ted McDonald used to live, on William Street.
Yes.
That's where I was born, me. Okay. And my sister was born where Leonard Roy used to live.
You don't remember that, eh?
Yes, I do. Leonard Roy.
On Young Street?
Yes, on Young Street. I remember the big family there.
Yeah, there was a house like covered with tin, and that's where my sister was born, Rachel.
Okay, and how many other siblings? So there's Rachel, there's yourself.
Myself, there's Hubert, there's Jacques, who passed away in 1951 at the age of 9.
I got that here.
Then there's Cleo. There's Arlie. There's Jacques. You got Jacques?
Yes, we passed the one that passed away at 9 in 1951.
There was Cleo, Hervé, Angus.
So big family.
Conrad.
Oh my goodness.
Or 8.
8 with you.
7 living.
Talk to me about your parents. What kind of people were
My dad was a hard-working man. No limit of working.
So your dad was a hard-working man.
A hard-working man. He died at the age of 54. 44.
And your mom raised the family then, I guess,
After
the children
after
that?
Yeah, my mom was about 39 when my dad died, and she had 7 children to look after.
So that was a hard life for her
very hard.
Get the food and take care of you.
Yeah.
So that experience of losing your father and losing your brother must have been very sad experiences for you.
Very hard for me. And when I started, after that, well, she moved to Chelmsford. We were living in Fort Concession, going toward the casino. But we lived there for years, and then when my dad passed away, they moved to Chelmsford. I started working. I was 18.
So you started working at 18?
But actually, I started working at 14. I quit school at 14.
And what type of work did you do?
I went on the extra gang.
The what?
The extra gang, working for the CPR on the extra gang. And they sent me to Scriber. I stayed there for a while, then I came back here. I went on diamond drill in Seven Island. Came back here.
So you were about 18 then, or were you younger than that
18,
when you came back?
18. And then I met my wife. And that thing was we met on the rink behind the church, skating.
A lot of people met on that ice rink behind the church.
Yes, and they were like my mom and dad. They were hardworking, and they raised a big family, and they struggled, and we didn't have what we wanted to have because in them days everybody was poor in Chelmsford. Everybody was struggling. They were raising a big family. So I started working. I started playing hockey for Levac. But I played for Chelmsford. Then I played for Levac. Then I went to Louisville with a friend that I knew that he was playing coach. And we won the Northern Ontario Intermediate A. We played in Kapuskasing, we played in Espanola, we played in Chapleau, we played in Cobalt, we played in Temiskaming.
So you traveled Northern Ontario, really playing hockey.
Yeah.
What position were you playing then?
Left wing.
Left wing?
Yes.
And why did you play hockey? Did you like it?
Because I loved it. It kept me in shape, and I had a lot of fun, a lot of pleasure, and I enjoyed it. And after that, we went out for 3 years, and we decided to get married. Well, I said I'm not going to get married before I'm 21.
So you went out for 3 years, you were 18, then you were 21 when you married.
No, yes, I was 21, a month. I married October 11th, and my birthday is September 11th.
And how old was Ida, your wife?
17, she's going on 18.
It was okay for her to be 18. Was that the age that most women married then?
Yes, yes, and even younger. But I had said that I never get married before I'm 21, and I didn't.
But if you were traveling a lot with the hockey team, were you in Chelmsford often, or?
I was living at Mrs. DeVoe.
On Main Street?
On Main Street. I was a room and board there.
So were you working the same time you were playing hockey?
At Levac.
In the mines?
In the mine. I worked there for 10 years. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the mine. So I said to her, one of these days I'm going to quit. I don't like it. I quit the mine. Then I got a job for Chelmsford here, the town of Chelmsford. And I stayed there till I was 29 years. I worked for the regional municipality assembly. And Chelmsford, Rayside-Balfour. When they went together out, and then I got I took sick, and he said that I couldn't work outside anymore, couldn't work in the sun, couldn't work in the cold.
So you have health issues.
Yes.
Was it heart issues?
Heart, and I had 4 blockage, but I never got operated. Because it made 2 bypass through the heart, and after that, I had an heart attack in 1992. Okay, 91, January the 15th. I passed out on the job, so they brought me here. She brought me to the hospital. And they passed a dye test, and I had 4 blockage. But with medication, exercise, I did done 2 bypass through the heart by himself. Never got operated.
That was good luck in a way.
Yeah.
And you have been surviving since then. It's good. Why did you like working for the city?
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Because you liked working on the trains, but you didn't like the mines, but you liked the city.
Yeah.
What at that time, why did you like it?
Well, I always help people all my life. You know?
So you're a generous person.
Yeah, honest to God, that's not a word to lie. I don't want to brag about me, nothing, but it's true. I like to help people, and more people I could help, the better it was. But I didn't like the mine. The mine was good to me. They gave a roof over my head. They put food on my table. They didn't bother me. I had done my work, but I didn't like it. But after, then I worked part-time for certain contractors and this and that. And
if you're thinking of your past when you were a young man and first married, what made Chelmsford? Why did you decide to stay in Chelmsford and live in Chelmsford? What was
because
so
I loved the people that was there. I knew everybody. I was getting along everybody, except when people used to step on my toe. I used to shine my shoes myself, so don't dirty them. But beside that, I love the people in Chelmsford. It was a nice little town. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody was getting along. I enjoyed it. And I told her, I said, I'll never move.
And you're still here today?
I'm still here. 79 years that I've been living here.
If you had to give character to the people, you say you like the people. What made the people special here in Chelmsford?
Well, because every people in Chelmsford years back, if you needed a hand, everybody was there to help you. They didn't knock you down. They helped you.
So good, hard-working people, ready to give a hand.
Yes, and everybody knew everybody. I knew what time you had your breakfast, I knew what time you were getting dressed, and I knew what time you were going to bed. Everybody knew everybody's business.
And did we lock our doors?
No, never did.
Everybody was open and...
Us, we just started now to lock our doors. It's been about 2 years. We never lock our door, never. But since a lot of things been happening, we're locking our door. We got, because we're starting to be an age, and
you want to be precautious.
Yeah,
really.
I don't want her to be hurt, and I don't want to be hurt. Yeah.
Is there someone that had a special impact on you? Looking back to your childhood or your youth years in hockey or in the community, was there someone that you had a good relationship with? Excellent.
Well, with a lot of people I had, a lot of it.
Is there someone that comes out as a special friend or your favorite friend?
My favorite friend was Wilfred Doe.
Why?
Well, because we used to hunt together, we used to go fishing together, we worked together. He was a good-natured man. He would take his shirt, and if you were cold, he'd give it to you, and he'd freeze. And he helped thousands and thousands of people in Chelmsford without charging them nothing, especially old people. He had a backhoe. He would go around and clean their driveway, and get out of his backhoe, take the shovel and clean it, spick and span for them. He was one of my best friends, and he was an honest man.
So it made an impact on your life.
Yes.
Good friend. If we're looking compared to the past days and today, what kind of life did we have then in terms of traditions and food and, if we're looking at life today, it's different.
Yes.
Very different. But what made that life so special?
If you were hungry, you walk into the house and you say it to the people that you walk into the house, I'm hungry. They would feed you without a word. And if you were cold, they would warm you up.
Do we see that today?
No. Because the life of the people today changed too fast, and it's me, myself, and I.
While in the past, it was different.
It was different. You could, like I said, you could knock at the door and say, I'm hungry. They would bring you in, give you a glass of milk or a hot chocolate, a couple of cookies. They would feed you. And if your neighbor needed a hand, you were there to help him. And you helped. Like us, at one time we were 6 guys. Wilfred, Lionel Chevrier, Nazaire Bélanger, Régent Castonnier, René Bradley, and myself. If an old person needed a roof, we'd go and do it for them. That they were struggling, we'd do it for them for nothing.
All the work would be done for
For
nothing.
nothing. We've done lots like that. Nobody knew.
You didn't do it for honors.
No. Not just help the person.
And that team of 6 people were close.
Yes.
Were you part of the fire department?
Yes. 10 years.
Talk to me about the fire department then, the volunteer fire department.
We had good people working there too. Very good. It was like a family. Everybody got along. We all worked together. We fought quite a bit of fires. Big one. Like the one in the corner there where your aunt used to have the restaurant there, where Gabi Bélanger lived.
The corner of Arrington and Main.
Yes.
On the west side.
Yeah.
Southwest side.
We had a guy that I used to travel with him to Levac, and he always complained about the firemen, that they were well paid and doing this and that. And so at that fire, I says, I'm going to give him a call to come and help us. So I gave him a call and I says, we're fighting a big fire, can you come and help us? And when he got there, he says, oh my God, it's cold, eh? I said, yes, it is. But that's what the fireman does. It's cold, warm, rain, snow, or other things. We fight. He said, do you need me? No, I just want you to see what the fireman does at night when you're sleeping.
Good lesson.
Yeah. We were getting $6 an hour in them days. And at the end of the year, we used to give our money to the brigade and buy things. We bought a resuscitator once for them. We bought things that we needed for our truck. And we bought things that we needed for ourselves. We used to give our check back we get paid once a year.
And you would give it back to the fire brigade.
Yeah, not every year, but most of the time.
To buy some equipment you needed.
Yeah.
So it was dedication on your part to make sure that Chelmsford was safe.
Yeah, we had the first resuscitator in Chelmsford to the district of Sudbury.
We're talking, so do you agree that volunteer firefighters are good for us, for our communities?
Yes, they work hard for us. They do. Not only to fight the fire, they help a lot of things that people don't know about. They protect you, they'll help you, they'll come here, they won't destroy your house, they're going to go tell you what you need and this and that. And to me, it's been like my fire chief of them days was Monsieur Robinet, Auguste Robinet. Then it was Gérard Joliot after that.
I knew them both. Good men. Good men, hard-working men.
And we had a big fire competition here every year against Zilda, Rayside, us, Levac. We even went to Cobalt to have a fire competition. You remember that? When my grandfather Rayon died.
Okay.
And we went there. We didn't win nothing, but we had fun.
What was a part of the fire competition? What was involved?
Well, it was hose brigade. Like you grabbed the hose and you ran with it, and you put the water, and then you had a target to knock it down. Then there was the ladder competition. You go up the ladder with a hose, the fastest. And there was a running exercise. And there was a parade prior to that.
That's right.
What else there was?
Oh, it was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you had all of the brigades coming from all northern Ontario, really.
Yeah.
Even in Cobalt. You went to Cobalt.
We went to Cobalt.
So was that a yearly event?
Yes. Yes.
And I guess you prepared for it.
Yes. Us.
Did you have some training for that?
Oh yes. We trained at night, free. Like we didn't charge nothing to our fire brigade. We just train and train and train. Yvon Castonguay was one of our best runner, but you had to stop him once he ran full blast. At the end, you had to stop him. You couldn't stop, so we get there and we stopped him. You know?
I knew Yvon well.
Yeah, he passed away a couple of years ago. There was Régent Castonguay, there was Lionel Chevalier, there was Wilfred Doe, there was Nazar Bélanger, there was Maurice Ricard, there was Ticket Rodrigue, Dédé Roy, Gérard Blanc, Jerry Vaillancourt, Bedeau Vaillancourt.
You had a good team of men.
Oh yes.
Were there any women then in the firefighter?
No,
just the
men.
women.
No,
and just
no,
the men.
Just the men.
So you worked to keep the town safe from fires and other events. If there was a drowning or anything, I guess you were involved with the police.
Involved in everything, even accident in them days. But we weren't organized like they are today. Like today, they got the jaws of life. In them days, there was like a hacksaw by hand, you know. But now they got their jaw of life. They just open everything and.
It must have been hard for the firefighters then.
Yeah.
And you never knew. And I guess there would have been more fires then because of the construction of our homes.
Well, it's hard to say, you know. Everybody was pretty cautious with their own. They were burning wood or burning coal in them days. But everybody was, we had some big fire, like the one I'm telling you, the one in the corner there. And there was another one right on the corner where Mr. Villeneuve used to live. He had a store there.
Across the street there.
Across the street, there was one there too. And there was one on the highway, not highway, Harrington Street. There was a fire, chicken coop there that burned. And we had one at the end of the road of Montpellier Road. There was one there that burned too.
So there were major events in the community that you had to go and...
In them days. Then at Christmas, we used to deliver the gift for the telethon for the barber shopper. In them days, we used to do that.
So the firefighters delivered the gifts to the Chelmsford people.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of families in need then?
Lots. We seen lots. A lot of people were in need, and a lot of people weren't in need, and they got some. That's what I didn't like. But that goes with the game.
You help some, and you help some that don't need it.
That's right.
And you can't judge.
Yeah, no, you can't.
No, you just...
Because it says on the paper, who needs food? Everybody needs food. You can't choose who needs food. Everybody needs food.
Going back to your mom, I remember your mom.
Yeah.
She was a good cook.
Yeah, very good.
Can you tell me what kind of food she would make? Did you have any major events like Christmas, celebrating Christmas, or some...
Christmas, you used to make Christmas cake. I don't know how many she made them years. You know, years by years, she used to give them away. And cookies and food. We had food.
Even though the families were poor, they ate well.
Yes, because we most of the time we live on the farm, and we used to raise our own, like our chicken, our beef, our pigs. Make a big garden. My father would make a big garden, holy God, and then he used to send us to Chelmsford to go and sell some. But everybody in Chelmsford just about had a garden.
Must have been hard to sell.
So one time I went back home with my dad, and he says, you played around and you never went to the house and this and that. I says, Dad, everybody has garden in Chelmsford. I'd say 75 to 80%. Next week, Dad, grab the horse and go yourself and come back. And when he came back, I looked in the buggy and, holy God, I said, you didn't sell very much, Dad. He says, you shut up.
Talk to me about that buggy and horses. What
Yeah.
was the mode of transportation then?
Well, when I was born, there was buggies and horses. But after that, my dad had a truck. And, you know, he traveled. He used to work at Nicolaus at mine. And then he worked on diamond drill. He worked in the bush. He was always gone.
Was a hard worker too.
Yeah, a hard
Both,
worker.
like you said, both your mom and dad were hard workers.
Yeah, hard worker.
But people fed themselves on with the gardens and the animals, the farm that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you sell the vegetables? Where
Sorry?
was it that you sold the vegetables
In town here.
in town?
But it wasn't the size of this here. There was Main Street. There was King. There was Young. There was Lawrence. There was Arrington. There was Main. And then it started to move this way. You couldn't go too much that way because there was the track and the river there. But they built some houses behind on Soviet subdivision, what they call. After that. But most of the town was like Williams, St. Joseph. And they started building this way here. When they sold, Mr. Godet sold his farm, they started to develop it. Here was Mr. Lasselle, Aldos Lasselle, that he owned this part.
Was that in the 60s when people started moving in for the mines? There was an influx of people.
Well, I started with the mine in 1954. And I quit in 62, 63, something like that I quit.
You said about 10 years that you
but
worked
I
in the
worked
mines.
there 10 years. So 64 that I quit. There was a strike. We had a strike in 1958.
That was a
Then I went to work in Elliott Lake, and that's where I was married then. I was still single, and I got the job in Elliott Lake. And I asked my boss for some time off. I says, I'm getting married on Saturday. I says, I'm afternoon shift. He says, can I have the night off? And Monday off? He says, if you don't come in Friday night and Monday, he says, you stay home. I work afternoon shift. I came down. I got married on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock Sunday morning, I went back to work in Elliott Lake.
Short honeymoon.
None.
That's what you said.
None.
5 years after.
So it was
it's
tough. It was tough working for the mines.
Well, it wasn't tough because, see, we had a strike here, right? And we were getting $15 a week, like
From the unions, I guess.
from the union strike fund. So I told her, I says, after I got married, I says, you go tomorrow in Sudbury.
It was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, on a Wednesday.
I'll always for.
I says, go and get the voucher. She stand in line for 8 hours. And when I came back a couple of weeks back, and I says, did you go and get the voucher? She says, once and never again.
So you married in October. Talk to me about Ida there. How long you've been married together, and
That was the love of your life.
Well, when we started going out, we met at the rink behind the church. And we skated together, and I used, we skate till about 9 o'clock. Then I used to walk around from the church on King Street,
To the
and
corner.
I would stop at Lawrence Street there, and I wouldn't go any further. I wouldn't go to her place.
why not?
I don't know, I was shy. I was.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, and so we went up a couple of months. And then I asked her, I says, you know, I'm going to tell you something. I said, I'm going to marry you. But not now. I'm not going to get married till 21.
21.
I was 18 years old. So it stayed like that, and then I started playing hockey and moved around, but that was, to me, that was the best thing I ever done in my life.
Marry Ida.
Yeah.
So how do you react to that, Ida? I've known you since you had a young woman there.
Yeah.
And but talk to us when you first got to know Piton, and what type of really.
I didn't want to go out with him.
What made you change your mind?
I don't know. I guess he must have. Do you know, I never thought about that.
Went out with him for 3 years, and then you decided to get married.
Yeah.
She asked me.
But he says, I'm not marrying you before I'm 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you've been married now for how many years?
57.
58 years.
58.
What would you say is a secret? Because today you have people, young couples getting married, and they don't seem to last as long.
No.
What's the secret? What
I'm going to tell you what's the secret.
secret of a long, happy married life?
Oh, God.
Listen twice and talk once.
Talk once.
Listen to who?
Listen to her twice and talk once.
And why would you say that?
Because that is no argument.
So you respect her and you let her
That's
say
right.
what she has to say,
Yeah.
and you don't fight with her, you don't argue with her. What do you think about that, Ida?
Pretty much. If I have something to say, though, I'll
Oh,
tell him.
yeah.
And he does the same. So,
Like us with our family, when we start raising our family, our discussion was at the table at supper time.
yeah, we used this.
I used to sit at the end here, well, not here because we live upstairs. Sit there, she sat there, my son sat there, Brian. Giselle, her mom sat there. Giselle sat over there, and Donald there. And we had our supper.
Why was dinner time important? Why was the supper time important for you?
Well, because they were satisfied having us like together and talk about things. But then after we had finished our supper, we had a cup of tea, our cigarette. We used to smoke in them days. My son didn't smoke, and my daughter didn't smoke. My mother-in-law smoked. Anyway, I go to Brian, how was your day today? Have you got anything to say? Tell us, it's time to say it.
We used to have our discussion after supper
No.
at the table.
You, Donald, you got anything to say today? How did it go at school and this and that? It went well. You got anything to say? No. Giselle, what about you? Have you got anything to say? No, Dad. Are you sure? Say it if you got something. No. Okay,
always
it's
do
finished. Today's finished.
We still do.
Tomorrow's another day.
So you took time with your children to
Oh.
listen to them.
Yeah.
You asked them if something had gone, well, maybe that would be a good motto
Yeah.
for people, but at least you listened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could tell you, did it ever happen that they had the things
They
that
have a
didn't
little
go
bit
well?
of problems, like at school and this and that. Well, okay, I says, okay, we'll work on that and we'll see. But you got to work it. I can't go to school every day to help you out. You got to work on it.
I'd like you to talk to me about your parents. Tell me who your parents were and what kind of people they were.
Oh, you were.
I knew them well,
Oh, yeah.
but then they know their names and what kind of people were they? Your mom and dad. Your dad, I think, worked out of town?
No,
No?
you used to work at the nickel offset
Okay.
at the mine there.
But his name?
So no?
Orel,
Yeah,
and
Bridget.
Mom was Bridget.
She came from Montreal, right?
No.
No? Where did she come from?
She came from Restigouche,
That's a good.
New Brunswick. New Brunswick.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's on the border of.
New Brunswick and
It's considered Quebec
yeah.
because she just had to cross the bridge, and she was in New Brunswick.
Okay.
So
So how do you know how your parents met? Do you remember
Yeah.
how they met?
my dad
Well,
was
you weren't born
working in
there,
the
but they were
bush
okay.
at
Sultan.
Salton. And my mom used to work in the kitchen,
in the cookery.
in the cookery. Yeah,
And they met
yeah.
and they married.
They married. They came down by train. They went to church, and they got married there
At night.
at night.
Is that in Chelmsford?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 29th of
They
February.
came, yeah, because Dad used to live in Chelmsford.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was born here. No,
Your dad was born here.
no.
Yes.
But he spent a lot of his life here in Chelmsford.
Oh yeah, always did.
They used to have the house on the corner of Young Street and O'Connor. There was a red house there. One
Remember
time,
where we used to live?
Eddie Rayom had a store there at one time.
Yes, I remember that.
Well, that's a corner.
But then they move on to King Street.
On King Street we
Yeah.
used to live.
And how many brothers and sisters do you have, Ida?
Well, I have
Yeah.
one brother and one sister.
Mhm.
William?
Yes.
Well, we used to call him Billy. I don't think you knew him.
Oh, I knew Billy well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And his
And
wife.
then Ellen, she left. She was what? She moved to Sudbury, and she was working in the hospital, the St. Joe's
Yeah,
hospital. She worked there.
Do you have good memories of your family?
Yeah.
What would be, if you had to describe an event or a memory
Oh,
about your mom and dad or your family?
well, my mom and dad. Was me? I was born on King Street, so
Were you the youngest of the
Yeah.
family?
yeah.
So you were the baby.
Yeah, spoiled baby.
And
Me, I used to. My brother was raising rabbits. Well, rabbits, huh? And he says, "I'm gonna give you." He says, "I'm gonna give you a job. I'm gonna pay you." I says, "What kind of job?" I was young, eh? He says, "Yeah,
Clover.
Clover.
If you want to pick up
You
clover
gotta-
for my rabbits,
For my yeah." I says, "Okay." So you would pay me every week. You would give me a quarter.
big money.
Oh, then yeah. And that I remember very good. Me, I really got along great with Helen. I didn't know that much because she had moved to Sudbury and she was working and she had an apartment living. So, anyways,
there's 7
I
years
was very
difference,
close
eh,
with Billy.
between her
And Helen?
and in 7 years.
Yeah,
And with
a lot
Billy?
of difference.
Billy, you know,
There was a lot of 5 years, I think, between
Yeah,
Billy and Ellen, and then Ellen and I.
So not a big family like
No.
we had
no,
the other
we were
community,
only
in the
3 of
community.
us.
A lot of it, like you don't had a big family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And your mom and dad had big families.
Yeah.
They came from big families.
She got 21 kids.
Unbelievable, eh?
And
Poor lady.
she died at the age of 54.
So people were dying at younger ages, eh?
54. She had sugar diabetes. She was bent in two like this, and she walked.
So life was hard for the women then,
Yeah.
especially 21 children and hard work in the home.
Yeah. Yes.
Like the home life, like today it's different.
Yeah.
What type of work did you have to do in the home then?
A lot of work. A lot of work.
You talked about heating with wood or
coal.
Coal.
We used to make our own wood. 90% of the people used to make their own wood.
You had running water.
The pump. We had a three-piece bathroom, the cover, the handle, and the pot.
Which is different from today, from the bathrooms today. The old style.
Yes.
The old style.
Yes. Yeah.
And the work in the home, like the work washing and cooking and
Oh my God.
Everything was done by hand. Everything was done by hand.
So what would you recommend? What would you tell, William or another grandchild that you have? What would you tell them, Piton?
Well, like my grandfather told me once I started to work, he says, "My son, you want to go ahead in life?" I says, "Yes, Papa. If you make $1, spend 95 cents. Keep a nickel. You'll never be broke." He always told me that, my grandfather. And that stayed in my head. Because he's been gone a long time, and but it stayed in my head. And how long I've been telling you that?
Oh yeah.
To save some money that you'll never
Put it
be
aside.
broke.
Put it aside. You'll never be broke. But today you make $1, and the young people, you spend $1.25. That quarter is
Not
missing.
all.
No, not all, but a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And there's a 25 cents missing. Where is it? It's gone. And once you spend it, it never comes back. I was never like a guy to put some money away and say we can't do this and we can't do that. Well, we
never did.
We control our life. We spent a lot of time. I wanted to go out, but I couldn't afford it. I put 2 kids to university.
Same time.
The same time. One in the United States and one in Barrie. I paid her room and board, paid her school. My son has scholarship.
Well, thank God for
But
that.
I used to send him $225 a week,
Then.
a month, to spend. And I used to dress him.
So you helped them get a good education.
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did.
And it meant that you couldn't do all that you wanted to do,
No.
but you had that parental obligation
Yeah.
to make sure that your children succeeded well.
We're well today. We got a good pension. I'm not scared to say it. We're well today, but we weren't always like that. For years that we never went out. And she was working. I was working. I was cutting wood. She used to come with me, cut a cord of wood. I used to pick up scrap. I used to work part-time. 7 days a week, 31 days a month, 365 days a year.
And that was to help the kids.
The kids.
Make sure that your kids had a good education
Yeah.
and they were well.
Yeah.
And if you look at that today, are there any regrets? No.
None. And now I'm helping my grandkid. I pay them 1 year university, each one of them.
Our oldest grandchildren.
My grandchildren, and I started a fund she has 2 children, I started a fund for the both of them.
Yeah,
So that's a good.
That baby is starting to have more
that's
money
a
than
good
I
way
have.
of looking at life.
Yeah.
To share. You started off by telling us that you were generous, that you were kind and generous, and you didn't want to brag about it.
No.
But I can see now that you're generous
Yeah.
for your family and for your community.
Yeah.